is Jake. Today we are looking at number 95 in my top 102 favorite album countdown, and it is none other than Yes's third studio album, the Yes album. Now, let me preface this by saying that choosing my favorite Yes album was no easy task by any stretch of the imagination. Some contenders were, obviously fragile and close to the edge for, apparent reasons. And I almost put Relayer just for To Be Over alone. To Be Over is one of the best, most beautiful recorded pieces of music I've ever heard. I'll elaborate on that once I get around to reviewing Relayer. But, whenever I go back and listen to the Yes albums, this is the one I just am most excited to listen to, naturally. I feel like I don't know if it's more accessible than their other stuff, but it's definitely that happy medium between, melodic and progressive. And they were just so in their element here. These recordings are so unbelievably special, and I am going to talk more about them in a bit. For those of you who might be unfamiliar with Yes, they are a British progressive rock band formed in 1968. This particular lineup consists of, they're right here, I'll just point them out to you, John Anderson on vocals, Chris Squire on bass, Steve Howe on guitar, Tony Kaye on keys, and Bill Bruford on drums. Also, little fun fact, most of you I'm sure know it, but I'm just interesting anyway. The reason that Tony Kaye's foot is in a cast here is because they got into a head-on collision on the way home from one of their concerts, and it fractured his foot completely. So, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. This album was released on February 19th, 1971, and as most of you also probably know, this was Yes's breakthrough album. This is the one that really put them on the map. Around this time, they were, I believe, in danger of being dropped by their record label due to poor album sales. And, the first two Yes albums, they definitely had their moments, but overall, they weren't as strong as what was to come. And this, of course, as you may know, is the first album with this guy, Steve Howe. Steve Howe's guitar playing on this album is transcendent. He is really the one that kind of put some pep in their step, so to speak. They became an entirely different and much better band. My personal favorite Yes lineup being, the fragile, closer to the edge lineup, with Rick Wakeman on keys. But Tony Kaye does a phenomenal job. And, there really is something special about this lineup. It was brief, but every band member was a piece of the puzzle, and it was captured flawlessly on these recordings. This is like an album I wish I could go back and listen to for the first time. Every great album you can only listen to for the first time once. This is one of those albums. Now, onto the songs. Track 1, Yours Is No Disgrace. Unbelievably brilliant opener. John Anderson gives a very passionate vocal on this. I believe he wrote this sort of about, the kids fighting in the Vietnam War, particularly. And, essentially saying, hey, it's not your fault. It's the freaking government that put you in this. And, again, not to be controversial, but he has a point. The whole band is on fire. I love Steve Howe's wah tone on this, or I think it's a wah tone. His guitar tone. We'll say that. I love his guitar tone on this, and the rhythm section Chris Squire and Bill Bruford are just in. Once the song like actually really kicks into gear, they are just on top of their game. The second half of this song is so groovy. I love how sort of, when he goes, the part where he just goes totally crazy, and that kind of kicks off that section. And it's so, the organ, I noticed, really packs a punch. Tony Kaye does a fantastic job. And I love how, he does that again, just goes crazy, and it kicks right back in. The acoustic section that is kind of around that, the very brief acoustic section, is fantastic. Oh my gosh. I could talk about this song forever. Track 2, The Clap. This is a very short instrumental. It was recorded at the Lyceum in London, and made me like the song even more because one of my favorite bands, the Grateful Dead, recorded some of their best shows on their Europe 72 tour in the Lyceum. And some of those songs, of course, showed up on the fantastic album, which I will delve super deep into on another video. But yes, this was also recorded around the time of the birth of Steve Howe's son, and I really adore his playing on this. It's a guitar piece, obviously, and I love his classical shuffle sort of style of playing on this. Steve Howe is definitely the most diverse guitarist that I have ever heard. He could play just about anything. Apparently this song was pretty, I believe, Chet Atkins influenced, and it really kind of shows on here. He's really, really channeling him on this one, and I don't want to say he does it better. I'm not getting that controversial, but he is definitely up there with the best of them on this song, put it that way. Track 3, Starship Trooper. This could very well be my favorite song on the album. It was inspired by Robert Heinen's novel of the same name, but plural. And, I have not read the novel, but I have seen most of the movie. And like pretty much all of Paul Verhoeven's movies, it's nothing if not interesting. I love the spacey feel of this song. It sounds so outer worldly. It's almost like, it feels like you're flying, almost, if in a weird way. Definitely listen to this one at nighttime if you can. It adds so much to the song. It just makes it that much better, to tell you the truth. Also, this song is divided into 3 movements: Life Seeker, Disillusionment, and Verm. Verm is without question my favorite of the 3. It is hands down my favorite part of this whole album. It is one of the best outros ever conceived in musical history, in my opinion. It is literally musical hypnotism. It starts out with Howe playing through a flanger pedal, which is present on the whole song, but it really kicks into full gear here on the outro. And it's just the, and then one by one, the band slowly comes in and into this incredible, masterfully crafted crescendo. And when I say musical hypnotism, this song puts you in a trance and does not let you out of it until it gets right up to, it just builds and builds right up to one of Howe's best guitar solos by far. It sounds like he's playing against himself, part of it's on one side, and then it cuts back to one side, and then on one side again. I like listening to headphones. Okay, so what? Track 4, I've Seen All Good People. Now this song, as most of you may know, is divided into 2 movements: Your Move and All Good People. Your Move is honestly right up there with Verm as my favorite on the album. They're like neck and neck, if I'm being honest with you. This is definitely like the other contender for my favorite song on the album. I mean, it is absolutely just transcendent. No, I had heard this song on the radio before, and I'm like, oh, it's good. It's a nice little song. I like it a lot. I appreciated it 1,000 times more after watching the movie Almost Famous. The scene in which William is sort of like seeing, the backstage and whatnot for the first time. And it is such an impactful, very subtly powerful scene, in my opinion. Yes's music, there is a very sort of cinematic quality to it. And I think that's the reason why it worked so well in that scene. You know, their discography, you know, lyrically, sonically, all their songs pretty much are like movies for the ears. The way they're arranged and produced, it's so sort of grandiose, but like it hits just the right spots in just the right moments. You know, if there is a movie with like strictly a Yes soundtrack, because I think there should be, please let me know if there is, because I will be on that movie like flies on doo doo. I believe John Anderson wrote this one about sort of staying in touch with your spiritual side amidst sort of times of, trouble and grief. I think this is another song where the Vietnam War was a kind of a big inspiration. Is him just finding, spiritual comfort in times like that. And I mean, it's such a great message, really. I really identify with it a lot. You know, Not that I was, what the Vietnam War was like, but like just in times of, hard times we're all in right now. And I think this is a very relevant, necessary song. It gives you a really sort of warm, fuzzy feeling, too. I mean, it's an exciting song. It's a very quietly powerful song, at least the first half of it. The harmonies are absolutely next level. The ascending chord progressions, oh my, ugh. And John Anderson gives maybe my favorite almost one of my favorite vocal performances. This is another song with a great build up. I love the and it just kind of just crescendos once again, and it just explodes right into the second movement, All Good People, where it's basically repeating the intro, the I've seen all good people turn their heads each day. And with this really upbeat instrumentation, which I mean I really like a lot. Steve Howe's playing on that second half is second to none. And I definitely like the first. I like Your Move much better than, All Good People. But I mean, you really do need both halves of this song. It is really just a progressive rock masterpiece. Track 5, Adventure. I love this one so much. It's just short and sweet, Definitely also one of my favorite melodies on the album by far. The Don't Hide Away. Oh my. I mean, that's the essential message of the song, Don't hide away from life and whatnot. It's really, I mean, I love that this is on the album. I don't know. It's something to just, lighten. I don't want to say lighten the mood, because I mean, it's not, like this is a depressing album by any means, but like, definitely sort of like an easier song to listen to in comparison. And Tony Kaye is definitely the standout for me on this track. I mean, his piano solo, though brief, is just beautiful. And his piano solo, though subtle, is just absolutely perfect in every way. Rick Wakeman is absolutely my favorite keyboardist for this band by far. But I do wish, Tony Kaye could have made a little more music with this lineup, especially when they were sort of coming into their own. Track 6, final track, Perpetual Change. Incredible closer. I mean, I believe it was inspired by sort of Anderson's Countryside View, and it's basically about nature's, well. So if you've watched my previous videos, this song contains two of my favorite things in music: harmonies and dynamics. This song balances them beautifully. I love the sort of call and answer with the harmonies in this song. And I mean, the dynamics, when it sort of gets to that slow part during the end of the song, towards the end of the song, and it's that beautiful, subtle instrumentation, how is playing on that is, with the very, soft band backing him. It's a thing of absolute beauty. And then when it just kicks right back into the song, I mean, I was floored. I am floored listening to it. This album is a thing of absolute amazement. Overall, if you are a fan of, I'm just going to say it, any genre of music, if you are a music fan, please indulge yourself in the music of Yes. I would say start with this album, tell you the truth. I'm just having trouble seeing what's not to like. They have the poppiness to them, more so than pretty much most of the other progressive rock bands. They have, a rock edge to them at times. There is just so much to dive into with this band. So much to dissect, so much to just experience. And this album is an experience. I would have trouble finding one who's heard it and would say otherwise. It is absolutely, this is a work of art. And, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Seriously. Means a lot. Thank you. If you have anything that you want me to talk about or review, music or movie related, just drop it down below in the comments. My name is Jake. I'll be back.